So welcome to the Node.js Next 10 meeting for April 26, 2023. Today, we're going to spend some of our time looking at some sessions for the Collaborator Summit and then go through the regular agenda items. Before we do that, does anybody have any announcements that they would like to share?
I think one big announcement could be that we release our survey for the next 10 with the technical priorities and like asking community for input and feedback about multiple points.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good one. So the next 10 survey is active. Really want all the feedback from people. I think I've heard that we're like in the range of like 1,000 responses already, so it's doing quite well.
Great.
But keep those coming in. We're hoping to get the data. I think it closes. I forget exactly what the date was, but it's not too much further out. So if you're thinking about it, please go out and do that. And we're planning to discuss some of the results at the Collaborator Summit itself.
Yeah, and I think this is a link.
The link is, I will put that in a minute. Thanks. Okay, that's the Google Doc for our not for the survey, but for the.
Yes, sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's for the next 10.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can find the survey link also.
Yeah, if you want to add that into the minutes, that would be fantastic. Yes. Okay. The other announcement, I think, is, of course, OpenJS World at the Open Source Summit is coming up. And we are really, as was pointed out, only about a week and a half out. So that's pretty exciting. Looking forward to see people there, and that should be great. Okay, so what we thought we would do is look at the outlines that Jean and I had brainstormed a bit with the broader team and get some feedback and sort of plan for that. Start with those discussions, and once we finish that, we can loop back to the regular agenda items. So let me share that right here. Okay, I think this I hope I just shared the right one. So we have 2 sessions at the Collaborator Summit that follow each. We have about an hour for each of them, although I think we could be flexible in how we use the time. The first one was a technical priority review, like we've done at past summits, which I think is, it's good on a regular basis. So we were going to, start out by reviewing the survey, because I think that's good to sort of incorporate and internalize some of the community feedback, and then go into the project boards. I think, Jean, you were going to put those together and we were going to send them out in advance, right?
Yeah, I have to finish that, but yes.
And then, reviewing the results, doing the sort of prioritization based on like the giving, I forget, in the tool, we can sort of give a +1s. And then we thought it would also be good at the end to discuss some upcoming deep dives. We have one in mind, but there's probably some others which we can sort of plan as virtual get-togethers. And I think here, let me open up these technical priority slides. Right, still need to put together just a few slides with mostly just an intro and links and stuff like that, versus like not necessarily a presentation. What we have above here is it's kind of what we were looking to cover. Any thoughts, feedback, tuning on that?
No, I think it's good. I will send the link for the 2 board, I think, this week. So it will, we will still have 10 days, something like that, for people to start answering.
Sounds good. Okay, and then the second section we titled, keeping the project healthy, and intended to really be a brainstorm on that front. And some, so the goal is to sort of now say, okay, what are some key initiatives that's important to keep the project healthy? And again, we thought we could start out with a project board to get some brainstorming and ideas, review and prioritize, and so sort of spend 10 minutes at that higher level to think of, like, at the highest level, like, what are the different things, and then spend the rest of the time on diving into some specific topics. I think some of those specific topics we can pull out from the review of the board, although that we wanted to start with a few which were ones that we'd already thought were important to dive into. The first one being, like, how do we identify, help, and build long-term contributors? I think that's in my mind a good topic to see if we can figure out, like, how do we attract people who will be contributing long-term? What is it that encourages them to do so? And how do we support that sort of path? The second one was, like, how do we encourage companies and people to support the project? We had a bit of a discussion on that last time, and I think that could probably expand to fill whatever time we have. So we may look in terms of, other ideas and stuff, but that one's still like an important one in terms of what is it we could do to enable people to have that support? Because really, long-term, and that may even be part of what we discuss in long-term contributors, is because often longer-term contributors do have support of their organizations and companies that do that, right? And so sort of diving into that topic. And then, whatever else comes out of that initial brainstorm, maybe we'll spend some time diving into that as well. But I think, this is a good start for follow-ons as well. Even if we spend all of our time discussing how to build long-term collaborators, I think we'll end up with some other, maybe they wouldn't be technical deep dives, but they could be like a deep dive into some of those other areas the Next 10 team could schedule as a follow-on as well. And I'm going to look at this. And that is a good reminder. I think I was going to put together those slides and Jean was going to put together the first one. So it's a good reminder I haven't done that. So, but again, the slides will basically just be the intro slides versus anything that's got any real content in terms of presentation, more like, here's the link to the board, right? And that kind of stuff. So thoughts, that all makes sense to people? Anything else we should be trying to do in the sessions that we have there?
Also, if you see some specific topic that you think we should add to the slide or one of the two categories, could be a great input.
Okay, anything, so we've got those two sessions. Any other sort of collab summit prep or discussion that makes sense for us to have? Claudio, I assume from your perspective as the organizer, we've given you everything we need as having sessions in the overall agenda.
Yeah, like, first of all, appreciate if this can also be linked on the issue of each, collaborate session proposal. But I think this is actually, very good, let's say, agenda for what you folks want to cover during the next 10 topics. So yeah, that sounds
So yeah,
good.
I think we should probably take this and post it into the issue itself too, right? Like that's.
And I was a bit done. I mean, I think for the people that are truly interested, they can just open this Google Doc. But you can also just post it there. It's easier for people to see it, more visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good. So go ahead.
No, sorry, Michael. I just wanted to mention one topic. I believe it's been on a lot of people's mind recently. Definitely being at top of mind, but that can also fit that discussion on the health of the project. Is kind of like how we navigate the different market, moments, right? Like now there is this whole trend with which is a kind of a harder to navigate market, but there's also ups and downs, right? Like, so, and how the project navigate those. So maybe it can be like, maybe it can be just a part of some of these topics already there, or maybe it can be a topic on its own. Just wanted to.
Do you mean the employment market, or like something more specific to Node, or?
Well, yeah. It's not just the employment, right? Like, because there's other impacts, right? Like budget freezes and everything, right? Across the industry, right? So it's not just being employed or not. There's much more. There's a much more nuanced discussion that goes into the whole, larger industry trends that we live, right? Like, so sometimes it's booming, sometimes it's not, and how the person navigates that, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. But I was just, my main question was, is it like node specific, or the general market, which obviously affects, like travel, for example, right, is harder at this point in time for sure. Yeah, I think that could fit into either one of the two topics, really, right? Like it can either fit into the part of what's a healthy project, or how do we encourage companies it could fit into long-term contributors, or it could fit into, how do we encourage companies to support their people, right? And
yeah, just wanted to bring it up, like maybe, if we think it makes sense, maybe.
It's an interesting thing to keep in mind as a macro influence on what's going on these days. Any other thoughts or suggestions like that? Okay, well, let's flip over then to the regular agenda. So the first one is the metadata proposal for docs. I don't know, Claudio, if there's anything to chat about this week on that front, or?
Not really. I answered Tobias' message on the next 10 issue. I didn't receive a notification that he actually replied or read. Let me check if there's any. Yeah, no. So yeah, there's no reply or reaction on my latest reiteration of it. I will wait a little bit more. I can always ping him. Worst case scenario, if I don't get anything, into next week. But worst case scenario, I would just nudge him during the conference.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Review the easy retros from Collab Summit and do updates as appropriate. I think you did have a PR, Jean, but I think
I don't think I updated with what we said and discussed last time. I will check that and I will ping you if not.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So basically, I'll wait to hear from you to go back and take another look.
Yep.
Visualization of technical priorities. We're going to using that at the upcoming Collab Summit.
Yep.
I wonder, that one, maybe we should just take it off the agenda so it doesn't pop up every time.
I think we can move it, because it's pretty, it won't change a lot. And even if it changes, I think it will be a PR inside the next 10 projects. Okay. So you can remove the issue itself.
Yeah, I figured it's okay. So I removed the label. It's still an issue that's open. It just won't pop up on the agenda itself. The example documentation initiative.
I started to write a few examples. I need to push them and to see what we want to do. But I guess main discussion will, maybe we can have a discussion before the Collaborator Summit, but one of the main discussion will be held maybe during the Collaborator Summit on how, and if we want to, which kind of example do we want to have? Because when we discussed about it 6 months ago, main topic was what do we want to push inside? Should we include just pure Node.js related stuff, or should we also include framework use case or more technical that could be linked to one specific service from one provider or stuff like that. But we can also discuss. I don't know if you will you in Claudio in Vancouver or if you are remote, but could be nice also to discuss about like how we want to maybe use the example part and include that in the new website, link to the article and stuff like that.
Okay, the I-18N initiative, is that related or? No, I guess that's different. So that one,
That one is a more the discussion about internationalization of the documentation and what do we want to change. I have a way to automatically use GitHub Action to replicate new commit in a core repository to other repositories, so that way it will be specific repository inside the Node.js organization. So you don't need to give the same right for people to contribute, and could be 100% collaborative and community-driven project. We'll need maybe some update depending on how we want to push the next step with Claudio for the documentation, but like I have a proof of concept for that. So I can do a presentation maybe during the Collaborator Summit or like outside some session or in the next 10 meeting if needed.
yeah, okay. So if you can put together a demo or a discussion and plan to do that, probably in a meeting like this so that we can have it recorded and shared, unless.
Okay, great.
Good. Okay, the next one is the Next 10 survey. So it's open now. Please respond. I don't think we have anything else to talk about on that one. The next one, create communication channel to JS newsletters periodicals. I think last week we kind of split up, Jean, myself, the teams to contact. I know I've been working through some of those. I assume Jean is doing the same.
Yep, same.
With PRs adding like I think like I PR'd in the UV-WASI team, and as I attend meetings, I try and remember to ask the team in person. And so I think we want a few more. And then, I think when we get back from the Collaborator Summit, probably we should look to start reaching out to the periodicals to say, okay, we've got these 5-6 issues and here's the approach. If you're interested, take a look, and then we can kind of see where we go from there.
Yeah, I was also thinking just now, should we also have one, I don't know, in the TSC or OpenJS or somewhere to not split between 20 teams, for example, what we discussed during a Collaborator Summit? Because if someone wants to see every news from a Collaborator Summit, we will have 10 sessions, and this person will need to read 10 different issues. Should we have a more global for events where we are all together?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, just thinking out loud right now.
I'm just wondering if it's similar kind of news, or like, I don't know for OpenJS. I would say like, let's try and get something going in the context of Node versus, because like the OpenJS is like a whole different organization with, they've got some press people but it's an interesting idea. Once if this works out for the Node project, then like, is there some larger scale that makes sense for?
Okay.
So yeah, so I think that I can see is like, slowly we're adding that list, and then we can come up with, so maybe what people should be thinking of is like, who will we reach out to share this? So that's the next list we would want to figure out, and then start to reach out to the different groups. Okay, that takes us to the end of the agenda. So I don't know, is there any other topics or issues that people wanted to discuss in today's meeting? If
I
not,
don't have
go
really
ahead.
anything, but I'm not sure if all of you give a read already, on Doc's proposal in the last iteration I wrote, if you also have, opinions on that, because I'm pretty much just addressing Tobias' concerns, but, I also would love to have an opinion of what each of you think about that. Yeah, besides that, just see you all on, Open Source Summit.
Okay, well, yeah, we're looking forward to seeing everybody here and other people there, and talk to everybody soon. Nope,
Just
sorry,
maybe
go ahead.
a quick topic. We plan to do our serverless mini summit. Maybe just a few words about it, like
Yeah.
end of June, start of July, something like that, I guess, from memory. We because it will be focused on serverless, would be great if you do have contact on people working on serverless in your company or around it. Would be great. I contacted some people that are working on Lambda. I hope have feedback, but if you can contact your teams, colleagues, stuff like that could be great also.
Sounds good. Any other topics? Okay, if not, thanks for everybody's time, and we will see you in GitHub. And next time, I think actually the next one, I'm just looking.
I think it will be during the Collaborator Summit, so it will be
Right.
in 4.
So I think I'll just cancel that as a regular meeting since we're going to be there. Okay, I will do that.